Welcome to True Wellness with Dr. D, the podcast where we explore what it takes to live with vitality, balance, and purpose. I am Dr. D, and each week I'll bring you powerful tools, inspiring stories, and expert insights to help you thrive in every area of your life. From health and wellness to mindset and navigating life's challenges, this podcast is your guide to creating a life of true well-being. Be sure to check the show notes and grab your free copy of the True Wellness Checklist so you can get started on your journey to true wellness right away. Now, let's get started. Hello, everybody. Tell me, how many of you would love more money in your bank account, in your hand, and to be able to live a life without any concerns over those dollar signs? That, my friends, is our topic today. And I'm really excited. You see, a few years ago, I saw this woman on social media draped in a dress made of money. And I'm saying to myself, gosh, that's like really extraordinary. Like, first of all, I don't know that I was going to take my money and turn it into a dress, right? But what a mindset to be able to take your money and do that and wear it, and just stunning, absolutely stunning in terms of mindset, in terms of the dress itself. And I was like, I got to find out more about this woman. And so welcome today, Tasha.
Thank you. It's been a long time coming since we've been wanting to have this conversation, so I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, you can probably even see a little hint of Tasha's dress behind her. That's the dress. So Tasha Chen is a feminine wealth alchemist, and she is guiding spiritually awake women to really create overflow through strategy, neuroscience, and just plain old soul. So she is empowering high achieving women to release the hustle, embody the feminine power, and unlock, consistent 30K plus months with ease, alignment, and joy. And her work, I mean, gosh, I look at this number and I'm like, wow, Tasha, look at what you've created and how many lives you're changing, because her work has supported women to create well over $165 million and counting. And I know you're all scratching your head and they're like, okay, I want some of that. So we need to just dive right in and figure out this money thing.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, how did you even stumble upon this? Because, life can sometimes throw us some doozies. And I think the financial doozy is a big one that so many face on a regular basis. So, how did you even figure out how to master money?
It's so funny you said life can throw us doozies, and I'm laughing because I'm like, girlfriend, I got a few of those.
Yes.
I got a few of them before I figured this out. I'm just gonna it's recap really quickly because it's very important to understand why someone like me doing this work was, first of all, just totally unexpected for anything in my life, but how every little piece comes together
Yeah.
eventually. I'm from Jamaica, very tiny, third world country, and very humble beginnings. My mom had me at 18, had to go to work because 18-year-old without a job and a baby and no other support.
Sure.
So yeah, so right away, there was that like lack of love and over money, right?
Mm,
Right away, first entry into the world. Fast forward, growing up on an island like that, it was very much the harder you will increase your chances of having a decent life, not great, not incredible, if you're willing to work harder than everybody else to get the tiny piece of the pie that's available.
mhm.
So I've got this money thing I come into the world with, love or money. Then I'm raised very much with, in order to succeed, you have to work really hard. And I go through school, I get really good grades, I follow the script, I follow the formula,
Yes.
and do really well. I get a scholarship to the States, which is what brought me here. And I was like, all right, the American dream, I'm here for it, you know? So I get the scholarship. I ended up meeting my husband. I get married. We buy a business because everything in me is like, okay, I want to fulfill my potential, like
Right.
most high achieving women. I want to fulfill my potential, and I know how to do that. Work really hard. I was raised on that formula. So I did, man. I went to work. I sacrificed my soul. I
Mm,
sacrificed my children. I sacrificed my marriage. I sacrificed my health. And I made seven figures really fast.
okay.
I was being celebrated. I remember driving home from an award ceremony. This was a national convention, and I had just won franchisee of the year. And they give you this big, massive crystal, thing. It weighed a ton, and I'm sitting in the cab on the way to the airport. My kids are at home. My husband's at home. I'm looking at this symbol of success, and I just felt like the biggest fake because my marriage was going to crap. My kids did not have a mom. I couldn't look myself in the mirror anymore. My soul was in shambles. And I was like, okay, this is not for real. This is not working. This is not real.
Yeah.
Quickly after that, we had to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, right? It was all the things that were going on in the economy. And so I went from the top of success and incredible, all things working out. You're, on the front cover of the newspaper in your
Right.
local town to you're filing Chapter 11. That's the big one.
Right.
Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And you asked me how how I learned, how I got to master money. I failed terribly, terribly at it.
Hmm.
So now I filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Next thing you know, my husband's asking me for a divorce. He's gone, income's gone. I'm crying on the fourth floor for 8 hours every day in financial fear because how
Right.
am I going to do it? I'm on my own. And I had this moment one day at my mailbox where every day I spent 8 hours crying. Every day in the mailbox, it was proof that I was a financial failure,
Of
right?
course.
So, oh, past due bills, all of it, in red on the front of the envelope,
Yeah.
so everyone knows you're a total failure. And every day I knew what was going to be in the mailbox. But this particular day, as I opened a mailbox, I happened to glance in the car at my kids, and my son and I made eye contact. And I quickly looked away. He was about 7 years old. I quickly looked away, and I had the wherewithal in that moment to go, why are you looking away? And the answer was, I am embarrassed at the place that I have gotten to. I'm smart. I'm a hard worker. I'm a good person, right? How did I end up here in this place? And if I don't fix this, this is going to be the legacy for my kids.
Yeah.
And I had not been willing to do anything about the financial failures I was experiencing for myself. But the second I locked eyes with my kid and realized if I don't fix this, this is going to be their legacy. Oh, I went to work.
Yeah.
I went to work. And the rest is really history. I tell a funny story where I just sat down and I just said to God, listen, I don't know how you're going to do this. This is all you, but here's my deal. I got three requirements. I want to do something that's fun. I want it to be fulfilling and easy, and it needs to make a lot of money. Now you get to choose if that's baking banana bread, making t-shirts, like your, totally your call. But these are my three requirements. And I will just say, I have lived to see that prayer answered to the tune of women, taking what I practice in my life to change my life financially. And they've taken it and they've created over $165 million in their lives and
Yeah.
counting. They're from all over the world, all walks of life. The money has come in expected and unexpected ways simply because I was willing to go, I want to learn how to do this so that the legacy I leave for my children will be different.
Mm.
And once I learned, I was like, okay, now I want to teach other people how to do it.
Yeah. And what a gift, and what a gift it is, the work that you do with women. I mean, I think we've all been at some point in that space where, like, oh my gosh, what do we do? And then we look at our children, and it's our children who pull us out of
Yeah.
that space, you know?
Yeah.
It makes I always go to the fact that, isn't it interesting that we won't do that for ourselves, but we'll do that for our children? Why are we not worth it? And, I work with so many women really taking back power and control in the area of their health. And that is one big thing, right? They put
Yeah.
themselves on the bottom of that totem pole.
Yeah, it's interesting because, in my introduction, you talked about bringing women back to their feminine power.
Hmm.
And a big part of the work that I do is really helping and guiding women, I would say, back to that place of I deserve it. Like, I deserve to have the most amazing life. I deserve to be provided for. I deserve to be protected. I deserve to have pleasure. I deserve to have a ton of money. I deserve to have a lot of fun. Like, I deserve it. And why? Because the feminine energy that we all carry, it's actually advantageous in that we are meant to be the receivers of pleasure,
Mm.
right? But
Let
first
me
we have,
one more time so everyone can really hear that.
yeah, when you really own your feminine energy, you truly are owning that space that says, I am meant to be the receiver of pleasure.
Yes.
The masculine energy is meant to provide that, right? And I don't mean masculine like rely on a man.
Right, right.
Right? It really is truly understanding that when I'm in my feminine, I'm meant for it to be easy. I'm meant to be in flow. I'm meant to be abundantly provided for. I'm meant to be pleased. I'm meant to do things that light me up, that causes me to be creative. Like, that's feminine. That's what we were created in this energy. Um, to enjoy and to have the right to. But first, we
Mhm.
need to say, I deserve it. I
Yeah.
deserve it.
And that's a hard thing for many women to say, right? I think a lot of people, and not just women, men too,
Yeah.
all encompassing. But I think a lot of people fall into, there's some sort of guilt, shame, fear from their past or past experiences, or maybe they're even looking out in the future and they've got, like, imposter syndrome or something like that. And so it's really hard to get to that point where it's like, I deserve this? Like, what? And I say it's really hard, Tasha, but you're going to say it's not hard.
Well, what I am going to point out is I'm not making a universal truth. I'm just making here an observation of the women I have served. And it's lots, right? Thousands of women.
Yes.
And deservingness as a body of work is really intimate to me. I've written a book on it because it was a breakthrough moment for me.
Yes.
What I realized in talking with women, especially high achieving women, I am amazed at how many of them say, my husband has no problem buying himself the best shoes, the best cologne. One of my clients said, we're going on a ski vacation. I'm renting the ski outfit, and my husband went and bought the most expensive one for himself. And we got me and kids over here renting. And
Yes.
like, it doesn't even cross his mind like to find a cheaper option, because I believe in general men are raised completely different than women. As little girls, we are raised that we're the nurturers. We're meant to take care of everyone else. We're meant to put ourselves last and make sure everybody's needs are provided for. So when you're looking at finite resources, you're like, okay, well, let's see where the guy is like, no, I'm getting the best shoe available.
Right.
I have found that deservingness is not a thing that they walk through at the same percentages as women do. And
Right.
a lot of it is that how we were raised in that nurturing, we're meant to nurture, we're meant to take care of everyone else. Um, and I can understand when you say, because I've walked it, where it's hard it almost feels like you're being a bad girl.
Yes. Well,
Right?
stigma, right? Like you're taking care of yourself. Like even women that we're bringing them into our wellness programs, and they're like, I don't know if I can do that for myself. I don't know if I can invest in myself. And it's like, you're going to pay for the dance classes, but you're not going to be able to take the kid to dance class for very long unless you take care of yourself.
Yourself.
Right? Yeah.
That, Danielle, is key. The moment we realize as women that your number one job is not to make sure your husband is provided for, is not to make, like there's a cooked meal and the house is clean and you have a vodka waiting in hand with makeup in at the door when he comes home, like, hello, no. Or the kids are in every sports, every, extracurricular thing, and you're just superhero mom. No one is going to give you a trophy for
Yes.
doing all of that if at the end you're frazzled. Your husband's not going to be attracted to you. Your
Yes.
kids are going to watch a mom who sacrificed herself. Do you want your kids to model that? No. Trust me, I know. My kids got a season where they saw that. And if I
Right.
could do it all over again, I would not give them that model, right? So the number one thing that we can do as women, the number one responsibility you have to your husband, to your children, to your mother, to your father, to the world, is to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Now you can pour out
Yes.
for everybody else. Your cup is full. Now you can pour out. I remember on my journey, I took an 8-week summer vacation, and 4 of those 8 weeks was by myself. And the
Mhm.
first week, man, I was riddled with guilt. Like, what kind of mother are you? At this point, I was a single mom. Like, what kind of mother are you? You've left your kids, and it just, was just going and going and going. And I had to realize, if I don't take this time for myself, I am not going to be the best mom for them. I'm going to yell at them. I'm going to snap. I'm going to be at my wit's end. I'm going to be exhausted. I literally have to fill up so I can give them the best mom that they can have. And in the meantime, they were with their grandparents, having the time of their lives, being
Right.
spoiled.
I couldn't care less that you weren't there, I'm sure.
Thank you, mom. We're having every dessert every night, every, treat on the planet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one, deservingness. And I think that is one of the biggest obstacles, would you say, for women kind of stepping into that space where they're in their power, where they're attracting wealth, where they're bringing the things into their life that they want.
Yes,
Because it's
absolutely.
like, I want this, but no, I'm really not worth it. So you're like, give it to me, but then you're pushing it away.
Away. And when I said I had a breakthrough around deservingness, it was interesting because I actually had the breakthrough in a relationship.
Mm.
Short story. I was in a traumatic relationship for 3 years, intense trauma, suffering, all of it. Finally, it came to a head. And to save my life, literally to save my life, I had to flee the country. So I
Wow.
get to Costa Rica and I'm having this conversation with God amongst the trees. Like,
Yes.
what? How is this my life? You need to explain it to me, God. And the answer was simple: Tasha, this is what you believe you deserve. To
Mm.
which I promptly replied, God, have you lost your mind? There is no world, no planet on which I believe I deserve this. And
Mm.
I literally could just see God smirking, like, okay, but look at your life, look at the relationship that you're in, and what you're going to see is what you truly believe you deserve. You can say you think what you want to think till the cows come home, but
Right.
what you have, and I think everyone listening should write this with pen and paper so you can see it, because it's confronting at first, but it is such a truth. Look at your finances, look
Mhm.
at your marriage, look at your health, look at the work that you do, look at if it's easy or hard, look at every area of your life, and what you are going to see is what you have is what you believe you deserve. Doesn't matter what you think you deserve. That is irrelevant. You
Proof
have,
is in the
yeah, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
I always have to remind myself, okay, I have what I believe I deserve. So if what I have does not reflect what I want to say out there in the world that I deserve, then
Yeah.
all I have to do is I have to work on deserving that next level of that next thing. Like I truly believe I deserve to be a size small.
Love
Right.
it. I love it. So, how do you do that though, Tasha? How do you step into the one, right? I've heard there's this whole uncovering with let's be really real with ourselves,
Yeah.
doing an inventory. Let's not sugarcoat, let's not
Yeah.
deceive ourselves, but hey, the proof is in the pudding, look out there, right? And then when you see that and you're like, aha, right? And my thing I always say is everything's always working out for our highest and best interest. So
Absolutely.
we can see that, it means that we can move forward from there. How do you
Listen, I
always do
I
it?
I live by awareness is 80 to 90% of the solution.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
think of it like that, like, wow, am I ready? Because so many women, what happens is deservingness is a blind spot. It's a massive blind spot. Every single woman, if I say to you, do you believe you deserve to be wealthy? They will say, absolutely.
Yes.
Right? It's like my conversation with God. Do you believe you deserve to have an amazing relationship? Absolutely. I don't deserve this crap that I'm having right now. I do not deserve this. And so we think we believe we deserve things. But when you look at what you have, that tells you undeniably this is what you actually believe you deserve. So
Mm,
once you become aware of it, the great news is, all right, cool. Blinders off. I'm 90% of the way there
yes.
to solving this. So that's step number one is, as you said, being real with yourself, just calling it, seeing it, being aware. And
Yep.
then the next step, believe it or not, is do you want to become deserving? And I know that's like, well, of
Mm.
course.
Of course, except if you're filthy rich or you're living this lavish life, there's, that's bad and wrong. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, of course, until it butts up against, but the root of what is it? Money is the root of all
Yes.
evil.
Yes.
You're a sinner for wanting more money,
Yes.
and all of the limiting beliefs. All the wealthy people are just greedy and mean people. I would never want to be wealthy, and all of your truths have
Yes.
to be addressed, and you have to really look at, okay, now I'm saying I want to become deserving, but do I really? And you have to confront your limiting beliefs
Mhm.
about money and wealth. And
Yes.
it's the same thing with me with the relationship, because I think women can understand that. So what I realized when I faced that truth was, yes, I want to be deserving. Yes, I do. Okay, well, are you going to deal with the fact that you do sometimes think you're not good enough for the kind of man you would want to attract?
Hey, this is Dr. D. I just wanted to remind you that you can get started on your true wellness journey. Go ahead and check the show notes and grab a link to the True Wellness Checklist. Now, let's get back to the episode.
You're not skinny enough. You're not young enough. You're not this enough, right? Do you want to deal with that first? Because that's how you become deserving. You have to start to affirm yourself in a way that matches what you want to be deserving of. So if it's money, right? It is my right to be wealthy.
Yes.
I deserve to be wealthy, period. There is no qualifier. There's no justifying. There's no thing I have to do. Like, am I breathing? Yes, I deserve to be wealthy, period. I
Yeah.
came to experience abundance. It's my birthright. There is everything good about wealth. It's the expression of God's abundance. Money is the expression of God's abundance through me and through you. Do I want to allow God to express with no limitations? Come through, God. Here I am.
Yeah.
Right? Just flow all of that wealth through me. I am not going to be a blocker of your expression. And so, yeah, it really, to answer your question succinctly, how do you become deserving? You really have to, truly want to be deserving, and ask yourself, what are the thoughts that I have that would block me from truly being deserving of wealth, and how can I address them, change them, affirm something different for myself?
Yes. I think for our listeners, if anybody heard, like as Tasha was saying all that, if anyone was saying, but, that is where it'll work, right?
Yeah.
That those are the areas like, oh, what do you mean? I deserve, look at the way she said, I deserve it. I have a right. That's the voice. I call them the little gremlin voices.
Yeah. 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 And I'm not, look, I'm one to keep it real. I am not going to sugarcoat it in telling you, yeah, just say that. I deserve to be wealthy.
Oh, yes.
Period. One time and everything's going to change, I can tell you that my greatest breakthrough came when I heard the gremlins. I mean, I was so committed to it. Like, you got to be kidding me. It's like it kind of pissed me off a little bit. Like, I have what I believe I deserve. So this is it. This is what I believe I deserve. Heck no. I am going to become deserving of what I really want. Right. And
Yeah.
so I was so committed to that when those little gremlins came one by one, I was like, I see you. I hear you. And I said, I deserve to be wealthy, period. And
Mm,
it's kind of like, I joke sometimes, I'm like, it's like a little kid. Just go, here's a treat, go sit in the corner. You're good. We're good. Okay.
right.
you know? Yeah. It does take being committed to changing that voice,
Mhm.
recognizing that you are the observer, right? You're not the thought. You are the person observing. You are the one deciding if the voice continues to speak or not,
Yes.
right? So yeah.
Yeah. How did you come to a place, Tasha, where it became easier for you to recognize those voices, to recognize that they were not, that you were separate from the little gremlins, that they were not you running the show, but they were this other thing running the
Yeah. I've done, I've read a lot.
show. Yeah.
I live this stuff. I teach it every day. And I just want, before I answer the question, I want to say, and I still have gremlins,
Yeah. Oh,
right?
human.
So I am not going to paint the picture of there's this point where they just go away and
Right.
you get to woosah through the
Right.
day. Okay, we're not aiming for perfection. We're aiming for progress. And if you notice progress, you've already won, right? So for me, how did I get to the point that I'm at right now is I think that we are driven by rewards, right? What is the reward that I'm getting for a behavior?
Mm,
And is that reward worth it for me? And the reward that I wanted more than anything was to truly get myself to this place where I had mastery over my thoughts.
yes.
That's it. I did not want, like, actually, let me take it back because I need to say something really powerful. Our thoughts create our reality.
Mm,
Fact.
yes.
Now let's think about the 70,000 thoughts
That we have.
we have, right? Going on per day. Just think about that. And it's not possible to control 70,000 thoughts. But one of my friends, who's a very wealthy woman, she has made a minimum of $350,000 a month, minimum, for
Wow.
30 years, for 30 years and
Wow.
counting. So do the math, okay?
Yes.
A lot of money.
Yes.
And I invited her to one of my events to talk about the mechanics of wealth. And
Mhm.
she said, I can break it down very simply for you. It is this: the body has functions that operate on autopilot.
Mhm.
I can't tell my heart, stop now, start now.
Right.
Right?
Exactly. It's just going.
Yeah, like it just goes, right?
Yep.
The way our cells work, the way our muscles work, like there's so much autopilot things happening inside of the human body that we have no direct control over except one: our thoughts.
Yes.
That's the only one. You can literally go stop, right? We're thinking these 70,000 thoughts on autopilot. They are just happening. But
Yes.
we can say, no, stop that thought right there. And
Mhm.
actually, this is what I want to think. I
Yes.
can't tell my heart, I can't direct it go a little bit faster, slow down one beat. you know, I can't speak to it in that way, but I can master my thoughts when I am aware that I had a thought. And think about it like this: when you become aware that you're in stinking thinking, as we would say,
Stinking thinking.
right? And you ask yourself, man, if I keep thinking this thought, I know it is going to create in my life. If I keep thinking I'm worried about money, I'm worried about money, I'm worried about money, I'm worried about there's never enough money. Is there gonna be enough for retirement? Da 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 da. Worry, fear, 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 scarcity, 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 lack, lack, lack,
Yes.
thoughts about money.
Yes.
I'm aware I think like that. Like nobody needs to tell me. I am fully aware. Now I get to ask myself, thoughts create.
Mm-hmm.
If I allow these thoughts to keep playing over and over again, I know what they're going to create. They have to create the result that is a match for what I'm thinking. Do I want this result? Do I really want this result? No, I
Yeah.
don't. So, driven by reward, the reward I want is the thing I want. I want
Yes.
an abundant life. I want more money than I need. I want, large amounts of consistent, easily generated money in my life all the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
That's what I want. That's the ultimate carrot, right? Okay, I know what I want. Let's reverse engineer it. What do I have to think so I get this reward? Okay,
Absolutely.
now I'm going to master my thinking. Anytime I'm not thinking that thing that's going to give me that reward, it's not worth it to me. It is not worth it to me.
Yeah, I love that because I mean, it's the universal law, right? That whatever we're thinking is creating, just like you said. And if we allow our thoughts to take off into their little, spiraling vortex,
Yeah.
then we end up in the spiraling vortex. But when we can say, hey, stop,
Yeah.
let's think another thought, it creates a different, and physiologically, right? Every thought creates its own physiological response as well.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. As you were sharing, I realized I didn't even connect the dots, but I realized the gift I got at that mailbox that day, because what it proved to me without a shadow of a doubt was I had spent 8 hours that day while my kids were in school crying on the floor over money. And every single day, I had the evidence, I had the proof, I had the material substance of that fear every day on a daily basis, right?
Yeah.
If that's not proof to me and to everyone listening, like that's how quickly this works. That
Hmm.
is the law. It's the law. It's the law. It's the law. You throw an apple up, it's going to come down. You think negative thoughts, you're going to have negative outcomes, period.
Yep.
That's what happened. And the second I changed that, my finances, my life, my business. I went on this journey that's beyond my wildest imagination, all because I was willing to do the work of changing my thoughts. Like, sign me up 10 times over.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of crazy, right? Because like think about what you just said. It's we 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 only look for the positive to show that things are moving. We never look at the negative. We're never like, oh my gosh, everything around me is crashing. What am I thinking for it to happen this way? Right?
Yeah,
Like, where is that stuck pattern? Where's the stuck pattern?
yeah, yeah,
That's the access. It's the key to changing the result.
absolutely. Yeah. And sometimes I think, and I work a lot with high achieving women, and we are so wired to solve complex problems that sometimes the simplest things is the most difficult to grasp or implement, because it's like, that's too easy. No way.
Yeah.
You telling me to make an extra
Easy.
$1 million this year, just start thinking, acting, and being like, I have an extra million? Nah. Can't be that easy, right? And yet it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And let's talk a little bit about the other thing that really moves the dial. And I think that's gratitude, right?
Yes. I have found, and this is, a lot of people don't know, and I try to share this as much as I possibly can, is that gratitude is actually a strategy. It
Mm.
it is. And if any of your listeners are business owners, if you are not implementing the strategy of gratitude in your business, you are not giving yourself the chance to move the needle with ease, right? So
Yeah.
I learned about the law of gratitude from the work that I do, and it says the more grateful you are when something good happens, the more good will come. But this was the kicker for me, and the more rapidly it will come. That's it.
Ah,
Something good happens, be grateful. The more you do that, the more good things you're going to get, and the faster you're going to get it. And so you're like, yeah, I'm grateful for my dinner. I'm grateful, I have a roof over my head. I'm like, you want more money? Be grateful for the money you have. And here is the next level of gratitude. Not only be grateful for, okay, I have this money, it might not be enough, but I'm grateful, right?
yes.
Actually, do you want to be a millionaire? Be grateful as if you already are a millionaire.
Mm. Say that one more time for people so they can catch it.
Most people are very good. And I'm sure your listeners, right? We're really good at being grateful for what we have,
Yes.
whether it's enough or not enough. We
Yes.
are really good at being grateful. But if you want to move the needle in your life, in your finances, in your business with regards to money, then I'm going to give you like a little cheat sheet, like a little tweak. Be grateful for the money you want to have,
Right.
and be grateful as if you already have it. So while, yes, I am grateful for the money that's in my bank account today, I have more gratitude practices around the money I want to see there. I
Mhm.
spend more time being grateful for that. Now, you know a lot about neuroscience. You know about the reticular activating system. What
Yeah.
am I doing? I am literally priming my brain to accept that it is a fact there are 8 figures in my bank account.
Yes.
And my brain has no choice than to deliver what I have programmed it to believe is the truth for me. And now, when I apply the energy of I'm being grateful for that money, the
Hmm.
energy of gratitude as a vibrational frequency is one of the highest, and it's the most expansive. It's actually magnetic. So, at the thing that you're being grateful for, you're going to get more of it, and you're going to have it come to you faster. I hope that everyone listening got the power of what I
Yeah.
just said.
Yeah. And I want to point out so that people really understand too, it is not just you're saying these things to yourself like some sort of new age positive thinking, something other. This is like really being in that space and feeling the emotions that are there and allowing, like, I'm going to say, every single cell in your body to
Yeah.
vibrate with that frequency.
Absolutely. I tell people if you want to change your financial reality fast, right? Your show is all about wellness for all areas
Yep.
of our life. I love being very well financially, because
Absolutely.
then I can buy the best health products for my body.
Yes.
I can rest. I can do all the amazing things that's good for my body. And if you want that area of your life, like operating on speed dial to the
Mhm.
max, like working for you, then absolutely you owe it to yourself to sit for a moment and just think about, what's my ideal financially? I remember when we did some work together, Danielle, and you wanted horses for your daughters, and you wanted to live on a property with like all this land around it and just all this wonderful stuff for your family that required money,
Yeah.
right? And so if you can think about, like Danny, like you were so clear on what you wanted, and I think it's the same thing. If you can think about, well, not even just dollars and cents, I want this much money, but this much money would allow me to do what in my life?
Yeah.
And you can put yourself in that place where maybe I want to own a vacation villa on the Italian coast that I can choose to live 3 to 4 months a year, and I can go ride horses, I don't know, out in the wild for another 4 months, like whatever it is that would require money, and money buys time.
Yes.
most of all, think about that scenario with gratitude. Like, imagine if you had it, how grateful you would feel, and feel that gratitude as if you already got it. And I'm telling you, energetically, it's and spiritually, it's done. It's a done deal. It's done. The money's in the bank. But
Yes.
neuroscience says, this is not just me, right? Neuroscience says if your body can feel it as if it's already happened, your brain accepts it as the truth,
Yes.
and it is done. It truly is done.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I remember when I was with you, my kids, they had picked out something, right? They had some house in Texas that they wanted. I'm like, we're not going to Texas. I have a business here in New York. My husband has a job like here in New York. What is this Texas thing? But my kids really all got into it, and we printed out like this picture, and we had it. And I live in Texas now. Go figure. Like, where did that even come from?
And you know why? Your kids do not have the limits on dreaming that we as
Yeah.
adults do. They were just like, this is what I want. Yeah. And you're like, but I have a job and I have a business and that doesn't make sense. It's not practical. And they're just like, I'm just out here dreaming, you know?
No kidding. I think when we were working together too, my daughter, she wanted a horse, right?
Yes, I remember.
And she just manifested this horse. And I'm like, how did this happen? I'm like,
Uh,
wow, these kids are some powerful kids. And then she was like, I wanna, her dream too. At that point, she was really working on going to Texas A&M and riding on their equestrian team. And we're from New York. We don't have the kind of training and the background and the trainers that people in
wow.
other parts of the country have. And I remember literally as we were literally driving from New York to Texas. I'm driving, my husband's driving the RV. I'm driving the pickup truck with the trailer. I'm pulling two horses in the back all the way across the country, and the phone rings. And it's the coach for, a recruiting call for her to be on the equestrian team. And I'm like, wow.
Wow.
Because in all honesty, all the odds were kind of stacked against us, right? It's like a needle in a haystack.
Wow. Yeah. And there you go, right? Like we said it earlier, the proof is in the pudding. It works.
Yeah, it's just amazing. It's really amazing. And I know there's some people who are probably like, yeah, but this is like, does it really work? And what would you say to people who are kind of going through that thought process?
I would say I have a gift, that we talked about that I wanted to give to everyone listening, and it's a 30-day gratitude for money journal, right?
Mhm.
So if you're just like a decent person, you would want to practice being grateful for money anyway, right?
Yes.
You would want to
Yes.
practice it. But if you're skeptical, I really want you to practice it. I
Mhm.
really want you to say, you know what do I have to lose? I'm going to be grateful for money. And the beautiful thing about this journal is every day it's a different prompt. So it's
Yeah,
a different angle to look at how you can be grateful for money, right?
love it.
And so, what I would say if you're skeptical is just be willing to say, I'm going to set an intention that I experience something magical in my finances over
Mhm.
the next 30 days. Like, you have nothing to lose. Just like it's like a kid making a wish list at the Christmas or the holidays, right? That's it. You have nothing to lose. Write it down. So I'm intending that I'm gonna experience something magical. I'll see if this works. Be skeptical. Say, I'll see if this works. And then once you've done that, though, I'm going to encourage you to go all in every day, whatever the prompt is, just write out what you're grateful for in that area of
Mhm.
your finances or related to money and see what happens. Don't take my word for it.
Yeah,
Experience it
try
yourself.
it. Like, yeah, really, really, really go through it and try it. Because I think there's, the proof is in the pudding again. But if you can really just kind of bring your guard down to the point where you're like, okay, I'm willing to at least try this and step all in, like step
Yeah.
in 100%. And I think where you're not, like where the little gremlin voices are coming up, like, I can't believe I'm doing this stupid thing. Like, that's where you want to look, right?
And I'm gonna tell you. So two things I'm gonna say before we go is the first thing is this is a consistent practice for me.
Yes.
A few weeks ago, I wrote, I'm so happy and grateful. I receive a large amount of unexpected money. I just wrote that. It was Sunday night. I just wrote it in my journal. That was that. And I truly was like, I'm so happy and grateful. Like, if I got a big sum of unexpected money, I'd be really grateful. So I
Right.
wrote it in that energy, left it alone, went about my business. Tuesday afternoon, doorbell rings. I get to the door. There's a UPS envelope with a big urgent in red stamped on it, right? I'm not expecting a UPS anything. So I open, like, what could this be? It's a check for $17,000
Wow.
from my mortgage company for some kind of refund. You think I care? I don't care. I took that to the bank real fast. Right. But it was just like, it was, again, I just keep proving it over and over and over again. This practice of being grateful, it's neuroscience, it's spirituality, it's woo woo, if you want to call it that. All I can tell you is it works. It
Yes.
works. Period.
Let's leave it at that. It works. It works. Try it. It works.
Try it. Yeah. Yeah.
So what was thing number two?
Thing number two. So, number one is be willing to try it. It works, right? I can tell you, I have so many, $165 million did not come by chance.
Yes, that's
Clearly, something's working over here,
yeah.
right? So, that's number one. And number two, I think, we grow in life when we have an open mindset versus a closed one.
Mm,
So I would just ask you, like, is everything you got going on working for you? If it is, then then there's absolutely no need to try this. But if you'd be willing, and that's all that's needed, is I pride myself on, I'm someone who's always looking to grow, always looking to expand, to try new things. Yeah, I have a growth mindset. I want to try it. I'll try it.
yes.
Then definitely step into more of that willingness to see where there's an opportunity for you to expand and step into something new. Worst case scenario, you were grateful for money for 30 days.
Yes. That's it. Well, I suspect, Tasha, that something is going to happen and people are going to be commenting
Yeah.
on podcast note. You'll never believe what happened.
Yeah.
I did this. And I can't wait to read those things. So y'all, when you do that, make sure that you go ahead and put it in the comments of the podcast, because Tasha and I are going to be looking out for them. Absolutely.
Yes.
So any final words before you tell us a little bit more about how we can learn about the work that you're doing? And
I want to say to everyone listening, I truly, passionately believe this. We all, every single human being that's here, we all deserve to experience wealth. And I love Deepak Chopra's definition of wealth. He said it's the ability to easily, that's it, the ability to easily create anything you desire to have, do, be, or experience. Nothing about money. It's just, can you easily create it's your ability to easily create anything you want to experience, you want to do, you want to have, or you want to be, right? And so I believe it is our human, like, why we came into this human experience was so that we could all have our own experience of wealth.
yes,
We deserve it. You deserve it.
yeah, that's beautiful. And there's plenty to go around.
Absolutely.
There's
Plenty to
no
go around.
scarcity, no scarcity there. I love that, Tasha. Thank you for the gift that you are, for the lives that you change, for the awareness that you are bringing to this topic that can drive some women insane,
Yeah,
right? It's time for us to kind of release the cords that have us trapped when it comes to finances and financial independence and abundance and deservingness and all those things. So thank you
absolutely.
for your work in the world. And tell us, it'll be in the show notes. So if you have access to the show notes, everyone, you can pull up Tasha's information there. But can you tell us where they can find you? And pictures of you in your money dress, of course.
That's right. You, I'm on Facebook just as Tasha Chen, and on Instagram as Tasha Powell Chen. But the thing that's really important to me is, if you took the time to listen all the way through to this, is I would love to give you the gift of the 30-day for gratitude money journal. So
Yes.
it's specifically being grateful for money. And you can find that at tashachen.com/gratitude. Tasha, TASHACHEN.com/gratitude.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here, and let's keep generating wealth.
That's right.
All right, everyone. This is Dr. D reminding you to tune into your body, connect with what matters, and embrace the journey to true wellness. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to redefine their health. Be sure to grab a copy of the True Wellness Checklist right in the show notes. Let's keep redefining wellness and empowering change together. See you for the next episode.